The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Here's what's cooking on an all-new Sports Stove Fantasy Baseball show. We are talking rookie fantasy values, MLB news, and, of course, the ads and drops. Who you should pick up, who you should let go, and who should you hold on to. That's what's cooking on today's Sports Stove Fantasy Baseball show.
Play ball!
Welcome into the Sports Stove Fantasy Baseball show, presented by BellyUpFantasySports.com, Righteous Felon Jerky, and Mahler Bros Golf. I'm your host, Vince Stover, and I'm joined by senior Belly Up Fantasy Baseball writer, the one, the only, Kevin Wilson. Hey, Kev, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Happy Easter to you, Vince, and everybody else that's watching out there. And, don't look in the grave because he has risen.
That's right. Happy Easter to everyone, and had a great time with the family celebrating at church.
I saw those some great pictures you posted.
Thank you. Yeah, good-looking family, aren't they?
They sure are. So.
Yeah, and actually just a couple hours ago, I grilled for the first time this season, grilled some ribs, and had a good dinner too. So it's been a good day. Watch the Brewers beat the Cardinals. It's been a good Easter so far. So that was my Easter basket today, was the Brewers winning. So yeah, all is good in the world, I would say, in the world of Vince at the very least. And beautiful day. I don't know what the weather's like in Texas, but gorgeous.
Oh, it was in the 70s. It was great. We went out and we had ourselves. We didn't do our own cooking, all right, but we did go out. We did get some Easter food happening, and we came home and we brought some food home from Hawaii, all right. Because I don't know if you are familiar with the Hawaiian plate lunches, Vince, but those things are outstanding. I used to live in Hawaii, so we found a place out here that has Hawaiian food. So we were pretty jazzed up.
Awesome. So we always have a big Easter lunch at church on Easter, where the church everybody brings in food, and we had ham and beef, roast beef, and all the fixings on the side. So everything was nice and dandy there. Always love our Easter lunches at church. And then I had to fire up the grill tonight because it's been a while since we grilled something. So finally decent weather to get it all out there for sure. Well, we got a lot of baseball to talk about, and we're going to have a guest on here in a few minutes as well. It's going to talk through the baseball news and things like that. But we're going to start off today with our very first segment of the day that we like to call our Fantasy Burner. Our Fantasy Burner segment is presented by Mahler Bros Golf. Of course, today was the Masters, so maybe you got to watch some golf, and you wonder, can I look as good as those guys do? Well, Mahler Bros can help you out. Mahler Bros Golf has polos that look good and feel good. With their lightweight and stretchy material that hugs your body, you feel cool while looking just as cool. Their polos are guaranteed to make you look better, but it's up to you to golf better. On a hot summer day on the golf course, there's no polo that you'd rather wear than Mahler Bros Golf signature polos. Don't wait to try your new favorite golf apparel. Upgrade your golf attire with Mahler Bros. Get 15% off at MahlerBros.com. That's MAHLERBROS. MahlerBros.com. Use the code BELLYUP. That's 15% off at MahlerBros.com. Code BELLYUP. Turn heads on the course or wherever you wear Mahler Bros polos. Mahler Bros Golf. Look good, feel good, play good. All right, let's get into our Fantasy Burner topic of the day, and that is rookies with some fantasy value. I wrote an article this week on BellyUpFantasySports.com talking about the Brewers' 3 rookies and the value that they hold. So those are who I'm going to talk about today.
But given so I did no research on those guys because I knew you had it covered.
That was very wise of you there, Kev. All right, so who do you have as rookies with some fantasy value?
Okay, so I'm a Dodger guy, and there's a rookie player on the Dodgers that completely escaped my notice until recently, and that is outfielder James Outman.
Yeah.
All right. He didn't have a hit today, but he's hitting 348 so far in the season. 3 homers, 9 RBIs, 7 runs scored. And he does have a steal. So, and people are slow to get notice of him. He's at 28.5% owned in ESPN leagues. So he's a guy that people need to pay attention to. Even though the Dodgers as a team not playing as well as you might have expected, Arizona won 3 out of the last 4 of those games, but that's not his fault. So you might want to check out Mr. James Outman if you haven't heard his name until right this second. Get over there and check him out.
Yeah, he's had a decent start to the year for sure. And we talked about going into the year, the Dodgers, they weren't as star-studded as they've been the past couple of years. So it provides some opportunity for guys. And he seems to have stepped up and taken advantage of some of that opportunity for sure.
And he has. And you know how you talked about Mookie Betts playing second, and I was like, I don't know. But he has started some games at second base. And that's largely because they could put James Outman out there and have a competent outfielder. So it looks now like Betts might get second base qualification this season. If that happens, then as you mentioned, that he goes way, way through the stratosphere with second base outfield. And it's all because of, or, I don't say all, but for the majority of it, it's because Outman's playing well in the outfield.
Yeah, and another second baseman that doesn't have second baseman eligibility yet, but will shortly, is Bryce Terang in Milwaukee. He's listed as a shortstop because that's what he played in the minors, but all along they planned on him being second base here at Milwaukee. He's come in, replaced Colton Wong, and he's done a pretty good job with it.
Colton Wong has disappeared. I don't know if you saw that up in Seattle. He's gone from the horizon.
Yeah, he has, but he'll come back around too, I think, at least. Bryce Terang, though, comes in as a rookie, starts opening day. He's been playing against anytime they're facing righties, he's playing. And they're giving Owen Miller some time against lefties, but I think that's going to change at some point in time because Bryce Terang has been phenomenal to start this season. 6 of 19. He has 5 RBIs, 4 walks, compared to 3 strikeouts. He's got 2 stolen bases as well, and 1 home run, which was a grand slam. What a way to start off your major league.
It doesn't get much better than that.
Oh, it was beautiful. The kid is so fast on the bases, so he's going to rack up stolen bases along the way. But he's part of a 3-headed monster for Milwaukee when it comes to rookies. They had 2 guys make their MLB debuts here in the first 2 games. Bryce Terang was one. Joey Wiemer, the second one, an outfielder. And they're going to have a stacked outfield in Milwaukee. They've got Tyrone Taylor, who's getting ready to come back from injury. And they're kind of running out of room for outfielders there. But Joey Wiemer is doing his part to hold that job. 8 of 24. He has 1 home run, 3 RBIs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, 1 stolen base. He's holding his own out there. He's played center field and right field, so he can show that he can play multiple positions, and he's doing his job out there. And then the third guy is Garrett Mitchell, who made his debut last year towards the end of the season and did pretty well. Well, he's been great. He just gets on base. I mean, that's what it comes down to. He's 8 of 24. He leads the team in home runs with 3 to start the season. They've been mostly solo shots, though. 6 RBIs, 2 walks. He does have 7 strikeouts, but 6 runs total as well. Again, he starts in center field when he starts. But like Bryce Terang, he's playing against righties and not always against lefties. So out of those 3 guys, Garrett Mitchell has the most points so far in fantasy with 27. Terang has 23, and Wiemer has 19, at least in the league that we're in and the way that it is set up. But all 3 of them have been effective to start this. And and what I said in the article was it's so rare for one rookie to have fantasy value, let alone have 3 of them.
Especially on a contending team.
Yes, on a contending team as well. As a matter of fact, a team that is 7-2 on the season. And right. And I looked at the umpire scorecard, by the way, for the 6-0 shutout yesterday, and he was really bad.
I saw that you posted that.
I'm not bitter.
No. You'll take the 2 out of 3.
Yeah. Do you have any other rookies to talk about?
Well, there's a rookie that we were harping on for every good reason. That's Corbin Carroll. over there in Arizona, who started off kind of slow, but has hit in his last 3 games. And as I mentioned, are all victories. And so here's a guy, he's only hitting 257, but that's on the upswing. 2 homers, 3 RBIs, 6 runs, and 5 stolen bases. And so if you can get a guy that has speed, and he does, we knew that going into the season, but he is checking off the boxes with speed. And that's something that everybody, especially not in our league, maybe so much because it's a points league, but if you're in a Cats league and you got Corbin Carroll, you've got to be pretty happy that you've got 5 steals on your side of the ledger.
Yeah, definitely. And I do have him in a categories league as well. And, it's been positive for me. That when you said his name, though, it reminded me of a bad trade in another league I'm in that includes him. We'll talk about that in our last segment as we have time to do so. But, yeah, I'm in this crazy league, Kevin, and there's going to be crazy trades probably all year. And we'll talk about it. It's fun to talk about those things as well. But I'm surprised. I'm surprised that the rookies are having the impact they're having.
They are, and it's great to see that the teams aren't, as we mentioned, they're not leaving them down in the minors.
Yeah.
They're saying, hey, get up here, play, and it looks good so far.
It does, and I actually heard a broadcaster say today in the Brewer game, he said in the past, these rookies would come up and they looked kind of scared. He said, these guys aren't doing that. We looked at Walker from St. Louis, the guys from Milwaukee. These guys are here and they're ready to play. And they've stepped right in, done what they've done, not only for their teams, but for our teams too, when it comes to the fantasy teams and everything like that. Right. It's great to have value from the rookies. So that is our Fantasy Burners segment, Rookies with Fantasy Value. Let's get into our second segment of the day, our guest segment that we like to call our Call to the Pin. Our call to the pin is presented by Righteous Felon Jerky. If you want the purest jerky in the game, you got to go straight to the source. Righteous Felon has partnered with the best natural black Angus beef producers in the land to lock up supply and guarantee the best tasting, best textured, and freshest beef jerky on the market. Visit righteousfelon.com. Use the promo code BELLYUP. You get 15% off your purchase. And today, our guest is a contributor from bellyupsports.com. He is Ken Matthias. Let's bring him in now. Ken, are you there?
I am here. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
You guys can't see me, huh? I'm on my phone. I don't know why it's not working.
Oh, that's okay.
We can hear you.
As long as we can hear you, we can survive.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what the heck's going on with the camera. Yeah.
Well, maybe you have a face for radio, so we'll take
well, you guys can take a look at my photo on bellyup.com. But how you guys doing? It's a pleasure to be with you, Vince and Kevin. Sorry you guys can't see me.
Glad to have you.
Really unfortunate.
Yeah, that's all right. There's always next time, Ken. Let's start off talking about Major League Baseball. A couple things that happened today. O'Neal Cruz sliding into home plate, breaks his ankle.
Wow.
He's going to miss a lot of time. It looked like a dirty slide. Kevin, I don't think you saw the slide.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't even see it either, to be honest.
I didn't see it. I just heard the story just before I came on here live. And so I knew that he had broken his ankle, but it goes deeper than that.
Yeah, to me it looked like a dangerous sliding into the catcher the way he did. It looked like he put a cleat into the catcher's leg at the glance that I saw. So that'll be interesting to see if anything comes from that. But a fractured ankle means he's going to miss a ton of time. And him and Starling Marte both injured today. Marte slid into the third baseman and hurt his neck, and is what it is. He's on my fantasy team, so you know it's going to happen at some point in time. But so far, Ken, the injuries have not been the story of the season, and that's always a good thing just 2 weeks into the season, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, O'Neal Cruz, that guy can throw 100 miles per hour from shortstop. He can be, a pitcher, but that's unfortunate because I'm a huge Red Sox fan, and they just came into Boston recently and just swept us. So that was pretty unfortunate to see that happen, but that's being a fan perspective. But
sure.
I feel like the league's actually been doing pretty well since, I don't know, you guys pay attention to the World Baseball Classic? Because that,
oh, yeah.
We did.
I was definitely glued to the TV.
That.
Yeah, I was glued to the TV watching that. Unfortunately, to see U.S. come up short and Ohtani to strike out Mike Trout, but you got two of the best players on the planet facing each other on the same team. during the season, but different, countries. But
Yeah.
no, it's definitely it's been an interesting couple of weeks. I love when baseball comes around. I mean, I'm a big sports guy, but absolutely.
Baseball's been great. Now, being a Boston fan, you look at the AL East and Tampa. Listen, Tampa's not played anybody good yet, but they've beat everyone every single time. 9-0 to start the season.
Yep.
How big of a impact is that going to play as the season goes on?
I mean, obviously they're 9-0 and they just basically smacked Oakland up. But they got a really, really good team.
2 games in a row, I think.
What was it?
11-0.
Yeah, it's back-to-back days of 11-0. But they have a hell of a lineup between McClanahan, Wander Franco. I'm a big Wander Franco guy. It's just from top to bottom, that team's built for success. But they went to the World Series in the COVID year?
Yes.
Or they were close to it? No, they did, right? They lost to the Dodgers?
Dodgers, my Dodgers.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
That happened right here in Texas, so I'm well aware of that.
So, no, they're always built for success. Obviously we got their former, president of baseball ops or GM, Chaim Bloom, but he hasn't really panned out in Boston besides the 21 season where we led to the ALCS. But I'm not looking forward to the next 4 days between the Red Sox and the Rays. It's going to be a tough matchup. We start with Pavetta tomorrow, and then I think we end with Sale on Thursday. So we're going against Springs, McClanahan. So it's going to be a tough matchup.
We got to give a shout out to Springs and Rasmussen, both on my fantasy team, and both have pitched extremely well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jeffrey Springs was a former Red Sox farmhand, I believe.
And now the Rays played the Tigers, the Nationals, and the A's. And so if you read my power rankings that I posted this morning,
which I did, by the way, man.
Tampa's number 1, rightfully so. They're 9-0. You can't avoid it. But I said in there, it doesn't get easier. I mean, you can't get any easier than starting off with those 3 teams. So it will be interesting to see as Tampa gets to Boston, and then they follow that. They host Boston, then they follow that against the Blue Jays. It's going to be a tough stretch, I think, for Tampa. It'll be interesting to see kind of a little bit more maybe of who they are. But the rest of the East, the Yankees, 6-3 coming in as we currently are doing the show. Toronto started rough. They've kind of bounced back, 6-4 now. Boston right there as well. And Baltimore just under 500 to start the season. But I think Baltimore has improved as well. So when you look at that East Division, Ken, as a Boston fan, how scared are you that Boston's going to finish last in the division?
It's pretty scary. I'll be honest with you guys. Heading into the season, very, what's going to happen? The pitching staff's up in the air. You got Brian Bayo out. I mean, Houck's in there. They're also, they're missing a couple of guys and stuff like that. So the rotation's kind of shaky right now. Garrett Whitlock had a couple of nice rehab starts that I've recently seen with AAA Worcester and AA Portland. So he'll hopefully be coming up, hopefully by the end of this week. But I don't know. I'm very scared because Baltimore's on the come up. Yankees are always the Yankees. Tampa's been playing, great baseball. And obviously Toronto will start to turn it on, even though they've been kind of struggling with Jose Berrios has been, starting a couple of games that he got, a couple of losses. So he's been kind of having a rough start to the season. But Alek Manoah, I mean, he didn't have the best first game, but the second game he ended up turning it around. So it's a pretty scary division.
They scored 12 runs on the Angels today, so their offense is looking.
Good. Between Bichette, Guerrero, Springer, they even added Kevin Kiermaier from Tampa, but their offense is very explosive. Let's just see if it ends up being in the playoffs at the end of the year.
Yeah, Berrios has been rough. I mean, really rough.
Yeah, it's a shame I didn't draft him.
I didn't put him on my drop list yet, Kev, but he's a starter 2 away, I think, at this point. The AL West is an interesting division. Texas and Los Angeles currently lead the way, with Houston right behind them and Seattle there as well. I mean, Houston, we knew Houston was going to start possibly slow with Altuve being injured, some adjustments being made in the offseason on the rotation. The Angels are always a question mark because they're supposed to be good every year, and they've not been good.
And they scored 10 runs today and did not win.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's all. Yeah. That's all. That tells you all you need to know about the Angels.
Yeah. And then Texas, they revamped their offense last year, their pitching rotation this year, and including a former Boston guy in that realm as well.
And
Texas has they've been okay, but no one in that division has stood out yet. What do you think about the AL West, and how do you think things are going to shake out? Will Houston overcome, or is someone else going to sit at the top, Ken?
I mean, Texas has been on the come up between signing Marcus Semien last year. They got Corey Seager as well. Seattle, Julio Rodriguez, hell of a ball player. They got a nice little gritty young club that, gave Houston a run for their money in the postseason, but came up short. Oakland's still in the rebuilding stage. Shout out to my dad's team. He's a big Oakland fan. But anyways,
may he have a peaceful season, because
he knows the season's kind of up in smoke. But anyways, and then the Angels. I don't know about you guys, but it's been a very inconsistent ball club since when did they make the playoffs last? 2013,
7 years ago,
12?
or 10? I don't even know.
Yeah, like it's been a good 8-9 years, and they got that good 1-2 punch of Trout and Ohtani, but it's not just two guys that make up the team. Like,
true.
They fired Joe Madden last year, and I've respected him, and I've been a fan of Joe Madden. But was that the right move? I don't know. But what do they got? Phil Nevins now?
I thought it was the right move.
Phil Nevin?
Time. Yeah, Phil Nevin used to play for the San Diego Padres, and he was a gritty player, and he knew how to go the opposite way. So if he could teach any of his guys to do that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I still think Houston's going to probably be the top guy at the end of the season. I know they're having a little sluggish start after the championship season, but I just got a funny feeling Houston's going to take that division. It might be a close one, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be closer than we thought coming into the season at the very least. Because Texas looks, again, none of those teams look great, but Texas looks like they're legit this year. Like they should be in mid-80s win team, and that might be enough.
Jacob deGrom could be healthy. That's
true.
Big caveat.
Yeah, that's the number one thing for him. Health's always an issue with him.
Very true. I like to look at win streak, losing streak, and run differential, and I'm trying to figure out how good is a team, how bad is a team. That kind of, to me, the run differential kind of proves a little bit more of what that team is. And a lot of teams are not great in the run differential, but they're first place in their division. Arizona, they're on a 3-game win streak, but they're -3 in run differential. That, again, that NL West, LA and San Diego are supposed to be the top teams with San Francisco. And we talked about Arizona being a team that could surprise some people this year with all that young talent. Well, they sit first, and San Diego's yet to get going. So when is San Diego going to get going?
I mean, hopefully soon. They added a former Red Sox of mine, Xander Bogaerts, which it was sad to see him go, but they have too much legitimate offensive power to just suck with Machado, Juan Soto.
Juan even Soto pitching started off awful. When does he get it turned around?
Who? Say that again, Kevin. I'm sorry.
Soto.
It'll take a little time, but I think he's going to turn it around sooner than later. I mean, is he on a contract season or?
This is his contract season. That's why
they keep dishing out money to guys that they've had, or they dished it out to Bogaerts. But I got a funny feeling that do they have any more room to sign another guy to a long-term deal? Because it's not going to be easy to retain that guy. He's going to want a lot.
That's why I was wondering where their money is, because I'd like to know so I can go visit it.
Because Kevin, you said you're a Dodgers fan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dodgers.
So maybe Juan Soto will be playing at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, Kev, what if you get Juan Soto and Shohei next year? How would that make you
feel? So then you have to figure out, okay, who's going to play right field?
Yep.
I think you can figure it out, Kevin.
Or Soto. That's a situation you'd figure that out fairly quickly. I think
you could move back center. I mean, why not?
He's already playing second base. I mean,
you
work it out. Don't worry. It'll work. It'll be okay. In the Central, Pittsburgh 6-3 to start off this year. They've been surprising. St. Louis has been rough to start off this year.
Yeah, it's interesting, Vince. You mentioned Pittsburgh. You know what their run differential is? 0.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. But and now they lose O'Neal Cruz, and they're going to miss them.
That's a big loss.
So I'm looking back to see who. Oh, they played the Red Sox, so that wasn't easy. You said they swept you. Easy series for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it
was. Cincinnati beat them twice. They played the White Sox as well. I guess I just sit here and look at it and go, okay, well, St. Louis has really struggled to get going to start off this season.
And yeah, they have. They beat Toronto 2 out of 3, and then they've fallen off the planet.
Oh, their pitching has been horrible.
Their pitching is awful. The offense is good.
Yeah.
Pitching has disappeared.
Yeah.
Except for my man Montgomery. All right.
Montgomery
he beat your guys yesterday, so Montgomery goes to the top of the list.
Yeah, well, I mean, he threw 20 balls that were called strikes, but sure. Yeah,
Hey,
got fortunate.
He's my fantasy guy. I'll take every strike I can get.
Sure, definitely. But Milwaukee, let's talk about Milwaukee because I'm biased. I love Milwaukee. I watch every single game that's on. And yeah, it's easy for me to go, oh, man, these guys are amazing. Now, granted, coming into it, I said St. Louis would win the division. I was worried about the bullpen a little bit. It's a revamped bullpen in Milwaukee, and they've been really good. And the offense, it started slow, but it's coming alive now. So I want you guys, Ken, let's start with you.
Yep.
Milwaukee, what are you impressed? Do you think they're for real? Are they World Series champs? Give me something to live off of here.
I know that's your team, Vince.
Yeah.
I haven't been following Milwaukee much, to be honest with you, but I know I
out.
say I follow baseball a lot. But no, I mean, how has Yelich been playing? Because you got Yelich, you got Corbin Burns.
You asked the right guy that question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he got his first home run of the season today.
Okay.
He's been getting on base, but his batting average,
heck of a player. He really is.
He is. His defense has been really good, but who cares? No, he's been okay, but he's not been what he needs to be. He needs to be at least 25 home runs, and he's not looking like he's going to get there this year. Again, his defense has been really good, which, you know, when you're talking about real baseball, that is a good thing. But I keep wondering if he's been leading off against righties. He's been batting third against lefties. I just keep wondering, is he going to end up, being down and batting sixth before too long?
That depends on all those rookies you just talked about.
Right.
Man.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, you give me some hope with Milwaukee.
Well, I'll give you some hope because, as you mentioned, they're in first place, and Burns has not looked like Burns so far. And we were both high on him, as you know. You've got him, don't you?
No,
you don't have him. Okay. But you wanted him, I'm sure.
Yes.
And the other league that I'm in, I do have him, and it has not looked good for him pitching the first 2 starts of the year, but yet they're in first.
Right.
So you got to figure he'll get that turned around. So once that happens, then Milwaukee's going to be a tough team to beat.
They are. And like I said, that bullpen has been what kind of scared people coming into it because there are a lot of new faces. So far, so good for Milwaukee. And then let's close out by talking about the AL East because it's just a really intriguing division.
Yep.
Atlanta in first, the Mets at 500 behind them, Miami, Philadelphia has been horrible to start this year. But
they're back home, so give them a little slack.
All right, so Kevin says they'll be all right in the long run, but this is a team who last year was supposed to contend for the division, and they snuck into the playoffs, into the wild card. So, Ken, do we expect Philadelphia to struggle and sneak in again, or are they going to actually show up and be what they're supposed to be?
I think they're going to show up. Obviously, you can't really base it off the first 9-10 games of the season. As Kevin mentioned, they did come home. They had their ring ceremony today.
Especially when they were on the road.
What'd you say?
Especially when they're on the road.
Like you said, especially when they were on the road.
Yeah, yep. But I think they're going to contend with the Mets, the Braves, the Phillies. Washington's just still in a rebuild mode. Yeah. So, I mean, I think they're going to compete for the top of the NL East because it's not easy going against the Mets and the Braves, especially the Braves winning a couple of seasons ago in their experience. But, I definitely see Phillies and Aaron Nola bouncing back. I know it's been a rough going, but
he's a guy.
Bryce Harper won't come back to June?
Correct.
Yeah, so they're missing some key guys.
Yeah. How many weeks, Kevin, we'll start with you. How many weeks until we know what we got with these teams? Because somebody brought that up. Actually, Brent from the 1420 Sports Bar podcast brought this up on Twitter, asking about, overreaction. Are these, do we know what we have yet? And I said, I like to give it 3 or 4, maybe even 5 series before I really dial in on who teams are. So, Kevin, how long do we have to wait?
I would have to say we're going to wait. I don't know about as many series as you're talking about, but we need to wait until May
Mhm.
when we're talking about these upper echelon guys. Now, if we're talking about some of these dudes that are at the bottom of our roster, as you know, Vince, I'll get rid of them at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, but what
If,
about real life baseball?
Oh, in real life. Okay, so you know, it depends on like what kind of team that you've got in your minor leagues,
Hmm.
and so I would definitely give these guys some leash, especially guys like Nola and Wheeler and
Mhm.
established dudes like that. You're going to give them all the leash until they actually are hanging themselves.
Sure.
So yeah, so let's not panic on any guys out there. If your team is not playing as well as you might want it to, just calm yourself just a little bit.
So, Ken, how long do we have to wait to know what we got in these MLB teams?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Kevin. Maybe by Memorial Day, that might be pushing it, but June tops. I know some teams,
Yeah.
obviously, first half of the season by All-Star break, they don't play their best baseball. Then all of a sudden, second half of the season, they start playing their consistent baseball and make a deep, postseason run or at least sneak into the playoffs. So I give them about a month and a half, tops 2 months, because you're gonna have guys coming up from the minor leagues. Injuries may happen. Unfortunately, like you guys said, O'Neal Cruz, I wish him nothing but the best, but broken ankle, he'll probably be out quite a bit of time, I should say, if not the season. Unfortunately, it sucks.
Yeah, especially when it comes to hitters up there playing in Boston, Baltimore, in the northern
Absolutely.
climes, is you got the weather heats up, the bats heat up.
Good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Very true. Very true. All right, Ken, tell the fine folks listening where they can find you at on social media and anywhere else you got content going out.
Yeah, so basically, it's Ken Matthias 02 on Twitter. I write for Belly Up as a contributor. I also contribute for Couch Guy Sports as well. So a couple of blogs people can find me at. Unfortunately, I'm sorry that you guys couldn't see me right now. So no, I really appreciate you and Kevin bringing me on the show. I really appreciate it, guys, and I hope to see you guys soon.
Yeah, Ken, we'll get you back on the show. We'll work on the camera
see you
stuff.
would be awesome.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Kev?
Actually seeing you would be awesome.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm just on my phone right now. That's why. Oh, if I was on my computer, it'd probably be a little bit different, but
it's all good. We'll get it.
It's all good. We survived. So
yeah. Well, Ken,
not everyone survived. We thrived. How about that?
That's right.
All right.
Good luck. Good luck to your Boston Red Sox as they continue on this season. Chris Sale, hopefully he gets healthy and doesn't look like he did in his first start, and things will get a little better for you there in Boston. But thank you so much for being on the show, man. We'll get you back on in a few weeks.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. That is Ken Matthias from Belly Up Sports, and joining us for the first time here on the Sports Stove Fantasy Baseball Show on the second segment of our show, presented by Righteous Felon Jerky. Again, go to righteousfelon.com. Use that code Belly Up. You get 15% off your purchase. All right, it's time for our Fantasy Focus. All right. When we come to our Fantasy Focus each week, we're going to look at our ads and drops. Fantasy Focus, though, is presented by Belly Up Fantasy Sports. Go to bellyupfantasysports.com for all the latest and greatest articles on all things fantasy football, basketball, hockey, and, of course, fantasy baseball as well. Like I said, I dropped an article this week on the Brewers rookies and their fantasy impact. Kevin, you had an article on Monday, I think, come out, right?
Yes. On ads.
Yeah.
The first week ads, and I'm going to have another one come out tomorrow that will be dominated by a lot of pitchers coming up this week who have 2 starts.
There we go.
So that's something to look at when you're trying to plan your week. Who has 2 starts and 2 starts you'd want them to have.
Sure, that's true. That'll be a fun one. I ran out of starts in one league. It didn't matter. I used everybody up. There, I had nobody starting today, but I had hit my limit without paying attention to it. And I thought we had more. We did have more this first round, but I was like, oh, and I need to look at my lineup and see if I got too many pitchers.
That's one thing that I because Chase, as we know, it's new, and I clued him into that. So I'm surprised that you fell victim to that. I didn't think I was going to have to,
Well,
remind
it
you of that.
wasn't in our league. It was in another league, and I may have had less starts in that one than we have in our league too. I'm not sure, but I've got a lot of really good pitchers in that league, and so I've started offering trades to people, trying to get some of these slow start guys like Juan Soto or somebody like that for a pitcher. But so far, nobody's taken the bait. But that's
No
okay.
bite.
No bites on it just yet. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. You never know.
Okay. Yeah. Never do know.
Let's get in though to our ads and drops here. We're still
Okay.
early in the season, but we're already churning through our rosters, letting go of some guys, getting through some other people and everything like that. And there are guys available out there actually. So who do you like? Give me your first ad.
Well, I'm going to give you an ad that I'm surprised you have not brought up. And because he plays for your team.
All
right. That's Brian Anderson.
Brian Anderson. Yeah. He's look good.
And well, he's actually went hitless the last 2 games, but still hitting .417. All right. So he has 3 homers, 10 RBIs, 8 runs scored. So, and he's approaching, if not have already surpassed the 50% ownership rate. So if you're wanting him, you're going to need to move fast. And he's third base and outfield qualified. That is a huge advantage to him. And so he's going to cool off. We all know you can't hit 500, right? So, but I think that he'll get some hits, and he's out of all the players you mentioned, he's come out of nowhere, and he's locked up a starting spot. So,
yeah, and he's actually, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in the season he adds first base eligibility. Because right now, like I said, the outfield's getting pretty full out there. So I think he's going to see less time at outfield. He'll start at third base because Urias got injured the first game of the season. So that opened up a spot there. But Luke Voit has not been impressive to start this season. And they're going to have guys coming off the injured list. And I think that Anderson might get some run at first base opposite Riley Telez as well, which would open up some eligibility things for him there too. I like that pickup. I'm going to go with a second baseman in St. Louis, Nolan Gorman. He's only
owned, a guy that I like as well.
Yeah, he's only owned in 28.6% of leagues. In his last week, got 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, and 3 walks. He's a guy that's out there in points leagues. He's already over 20 points. He's given pretty consistent play, 7 of 20 from the plate. So there's a lot of good things going on there for him. He's not, again, these are people you're looking at if you got injuries or you're churning through the bottom of your lineup. These are not guys that you're going to go replace your.
Yeah, these are not season-long ads by any stretch.
Right. You got a second ad this week?
A guy that I was thinking was going to make an impact, and it looked pretty bleak there for a minute, but has turned it around, and that's Michael Conforto of the San Francisco Giants. And so he started off slow, but he had 3 hits on Thursday. He had 2 hits yesterday. He homered today, stole a base, had 2 RBIs. And so he is a guy that when because remember, he was a guy that could hit you 30 home runs.
Sure.
And so it's kind of funny how the Giants hit 13 home runs against the White Sox, then return home and lose the first 2 games of Kansas City. But regardless of that, he's swinging the bat well. And he's at 11.4% owned. And so if you're needing an outfielder, he's a guy that you can add that's a veteran. He knows how to play. And so I like him going forward a lot.
Kevin, I got my eyes on the San Francisco outfield as a whole. Conforto has been decent.
That's right.
Yastrzemski, almost right there with Conforto.
Yastrzemski is another guy I could have mentioned.
He's got 2 homers, 4 RBIs, 2 walks. And then Jock Peterson, he's got his first homer of the season, 6 RBIs, 2 walks, all in just the last 7 days. All 3 of those guys strikeout prone as well, so you got to watch out for those things. But those are guys that I've definitely got my eye on to see, because one of them, if not 2 of them, eventually are going to start giving you some stats, because they got guys, they're all veterans, Yastrzemski, Peterson, and Conforto. So somebody should show up. I'm going to go pitcher on a team that you wouldn't expect, and that's the Washington Nationals. Mackenzie Gore, 13.9% owned. He's got 2 wins, 1 quality start, and 12 strikeouts already in this short season in the 2 games that he's played in. Of course, he comes over from Cleveland, if I remember correct, and he's a legit pitching option. So I'm scared of Washington. to have a pitcher from Washington. And actually the league I needed pitchers, he was already picked up in, so I did not get him. But if he was available in that league, I definitely would have scooped him up because he's giving innings, he's getting strikeouts, and he's getting wins at the same time. So that's a big deal. And I was surprised to see Gore, actually looking decent to start this season. I looked at Josiah Gray, also from Washington. He's only 4.7% owned.
Yeah,
he's getting strikeouts. He does have one quality start, but he's also getting bombed a little bit too.
Yeah,
so
you might want to hit
Gore,
the pause on that just a little bit.
Yeah, Mackenzie Gore is the guy if you're going to get a Washington pitcher.
Especially now that they're out of Colorado.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Anybody else on your ad list?
Well, there's another guy that on your team, all right, surprised you did not bring up, and that's Wade Miley.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Okay, Wade Miley at 1.7% owned.
Whew.
He pitches tomorrow, all right, against Arizona, which doesn't maybe not looking so, tantalizing as it was a few days ago.
Sure.
But it's a 2-start week for him.
Yeah.
And you have to like against the Mets, no less. No runs, 5 hits, struck out 3 and walked none in 6 innings. Now, 3 strikeouts is a little concerning. You like to see more of those, but that's the only possible negative you can get out of him in that first performance. So, if you're looking for pitching, a dude's at 1.7% owned, 2-start week, there's the dude you want right there.
Yeah, and Miley looked great. Now, he's not going to get you strikeouts. I mean, he's going to get some here.
No, he's never been a strikeout pitcher.
Right.
Never.
But you're 100% right. He looked phenomenal against the Mets. He's a veteran guy. He's been around.
Yep.
He's seen a lot of baseball. And I think that's a great call, Kevin. I try not to get too Brewer heavy on my ads.
21 fantasy points with 3 strikeouts. Now, who's the last guy that you could say gave you 21 fantasy points and 3 strikeouts?
That's a great question. I don't know. I'm looking it up. He's gone in that other league too. I need pitchers in one of my leagues, and
he's available in our league. So there you have it.
Yeah, sadly, I don't need pitchers as much in our league.
Yeah, that's a I wouldn't say sadly because that's a nice position to be in.
But hey, we'll see. You never know. I might need a pitcher in our league. I got to look and see who I had. I picked up Steele. I told you about him last week.
Steele
in Chicago.
Yesterday. So that is an outstanding pickup.
Yeah. If I drop a guy to pick up more pitching, it'll have to be a reliever because my relievers have not been good to start this season. Anyways, moving on. Do you have any more ads before we get the drops?
Well, just one guy that I want to throw in there, and that's another that I could have mentioned rookie. That's Bryce Elder of the Atlanta Braves, who pitches tomorrow. We talked Cincinnati. Well, we really didn't talk, but they've looked a lot better than we thought, but that was at home.
Yeah.
That's a whole different scenario when they go into Atlanta. So, and he's at 4.3% owned. So, and he's going to start tomorrow. And then it depends on what happens with their bullpen or their rotation and guys that are out and everything. But he's could very well start 2 starts this week as well. So I really, really like him tomorrow pitching at home against the Cincinnati Reds despite their start.
I've got him in one league, running him. I've been floating through starting pitchers this week because I don't have a limit in that league of how many starts you can have. So I've just been rolling through guys. It hasn't helped me out a lot in the first matchup, but I'm hoping something. I'll hit on something eventually. In that league, Kevin, I waited till the 14th round to draft my first pitcher. I went all offense. And I was like, I'm just going to give this a try, see how it shakes out. Matchup number 1, not good.
I'm glad that you were the experimental, on that, because that's not. You could have blindfolded me, and I wouldn't have done something like that.
I said, you know what? I'm going to hold off, and I almost took one in the 10th round, and I was like, no, I need to wait longer. This is for the show. I was doing it for the show.
Of course. So sometimes you have to take an arrow.
That's right. That's right.
So.
And I took one for the team.
Okay.
Let's get the drops. I want to start off with Gene Segura, Miami's second baseman.
Okay.
In our points league, he has -3 points to start the year. And listen, there are some guys that have very low points that you're not dropping yet, but Gene Segura, there's no reason to hold on to him. You can find other second basemen out there that can give you something that he is not giving you. And like I said, to be negative points 9 games into the season, he's got 9 strikeouts, 2 walks, 0 RBIs. He does have 6 hits, but 1 stolen base as well. Yeah. Gene Segura, it's time to let him go, let go of what he used to be, and find a new second baseman.
Okay. So, this might sound a little strange because I'm going to drop an outfielder that has 20 fantasy points.
Whoa.
Okay, but there's a reason why that is, and the player I'm talking about is Lane Thomas, the outfielder for the Washington Nationals,
Okay.
who just finished up a 4-game series in Colorado.
Yeah.
All right, so they're leaving Colorado and moving on, and so let's see what I think they're. I can tell you that they're in Anaheim tomorrow, and so that playing at sea level is not the same as playing up in Colorado. So, and that's the kind of the thing that you want to look at if they're playing any team that's playing in Colorado. Look to see if you can add their guys.
Sure.
And once they pull out and leave, drop them. It's just as fast as you can possibly do it. That's the same with the Colorado players, a lot of them. So, Lane Thomas, I'm sorry to say, even though you're playing pretty well, you've got to go. And so that's my first guy.
That's an interesting pick. I'm going to talk more about him in just a few minutes.
Okay.
My second guy, and he's the only other drop that I have this week, is actually going to be Anthony Rendon. Now, we talked about him early in the year as well before draft time, but Rendon, I just don't think he has it anymore. Now, granted, he got suspended because he was grabbing a fan and mad about a fan supposedly calling him something, and the fan's like, I didn't call you that, but nonetheless, so he got suspended for that. But Rendon, 3 points so far. He's got 10 at-bats so far on the season. He's got 2 ribbies, 2 strikeouts, and 10 at-bats. I'm all out on Anthony Rendon.
All out as out could possibly be.
Okay, good. I'm not the only one.
No, you're not.
That's good to hear. I'm happy with that. So
Okay.
those are my 2 drops. My 2 drops are infielders, Segura and Rendon. Who else you dropping this week?
Okay, so there's a player, I had temporary insanity that happened or something. I don't know. I took, Danny Jansen, catcher for Toronto Blue Jays, and they've been bashing the ball all over the place. However.com, he has a -2 fantasy points, hitting .067. All right. And we know that catcher is traditionally been a light position, not so much now. There is 0 reason to have Danny Jansen on your roster, however terrible your catching position is.
Agreed. I mean, there's catchers out there.
There are catchers out there. So
Logan O'Hoppe from the Angels having a good start to the year.
Yep, that's the guy that we could have mentioned, rookie,
Yep.
right? And he's at 22.8% owned, and he's position ranked 3.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So there's
that guy. Gabriel Moreno. He got
there.
Moreno got traded.
And he's
to
a guy
Arizona from Toronto.
A rookie who's kind of started off a little slow.
Very slow.
4 points, but he has hits in his last 3 games.
Yeah.
So
he's had positive points in his last 3 games against the Dodgers.
Yeah, with 2 RBIs. And so I guess I'm getting a little ahead of myself of guys that you can be a little patient with.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gabriel Moreno goes pretty high on my list. So guys, be patient.
I agree. Any other drops this week?
We can, let's see. There are guys that nobody that we really heard of before, not really.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's fine.
And there are players that don't need to be on rosters, but they're not. So
Right. And listen, we're early in the season. So we're talking about dropping people. It's got to be bottom of the barrel guys that you're getting rid of.
Right. We're talking 25th on your roster or whatever, 26. So
yeah, definitely. All right. So let's get into the guys that we're not giving up on yet. I've got 4 guys. I had 3 guys, and I've added a 4th one already in this show. So guys that we're going to hold on. I'm going to start. How many do you have?
Well, I got one I just gave you.
Okay,
So there's
yes,
one.
Moreno's one.
So
Okay, well then
Moreno's
I'll
one of
go.
them.
Then I'll go
I've got
first. I'll go
I've got
first.
3.
Okay.
I've got 3.
So I'm going to start with, and I don't think anybody would be too crazy right now to do this, but I'm going to say it anyways. Anthony Volpe with the Yankees.
Okay.
He only got 6 points to start the season.
He had a triple yesterday. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see that, but the kid, he's going to come around. You're going to have to give him some time. He might be a guy you can go acquire if he's in your league already. You might be able to go trade for him for cheap right now too. But he's a guy that I'd be perfectly fine with having on my team still. I want to give him some more time here this season. So I'm holding on to him.
Okay. That's fair enough. A guy that I just talked about, guys in Colorado you might want to get rid of, except this one. All right. And it's going to hurt me to say Ella Harris Montero.
Yeah.
Did I even get close?
Yeah.
Okay, so he has 12 fantasy points, but 11 of them have come in the last 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's a third baseman.
Yeah.
And third base, as we know, has a precipitous drop off. And so they continue their home series against the Cardinals tomorrow. So he's a guy, and he's at 2.8% owned. So you want to talk about a pickup.
Right.
He's a guy that you could pick up right there. So I was kind of like, I don't know if this guy, because he was struggling mighty, but he's now hitting 321. So make sure you leave Montero on your roster.
So he's a guy I had and I dropped when I picked up Bryce Terang from Milwaukee. But they're in that same similar area, I think, as well. My next guy is from Kansas City. In our league, Kevin, there are only 4 Royals offensive players that are on rosters right now. And MJ Melendez is a guy we were super high on coming into the season. I went out and got and he's only got 6 points to start the year off. But I'm not giving up yet. I mean, the guy, again, he's out there every day. He's going to have the opportunity. And he's actually had a decent week. Now, not great by any stretch of the imagination, but it feels like he's starting to turn. If he can stop striking out all the time, that would be nice. But I'm going to hold on to him still. I'm not trying to trade him yet, and I'm not going to drop him, of course, either. So I think we got to hold on to him a little longer.
Okay, fair enough. So another guy that I think you got to hold on to is a guy that I didn't even follow my own advice here. All right, that's Trey Mancini. Of the Cubs, first baseman, outfielder.
Yeah,
and if you happen to come up behind me and sweep up the trash a little bit and add him, he had 3 hits yesterday. Okay. And he only has 8 fantasy points, 5 of them which came on Saturday, 4 of them which came 4-4, whatever day that was. So
yeah,
he's a guy that I like the first base. I like the outfield qualification. So if you need help at either one of those positions and have him at 12.9%, don't be so quick to follow myself and kick him to the curb just yet.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a good guy to have on the team. Give him some time to settle into his new place, and I think there's potential there for him to have a good rest of the year. I'm going to go pitcher for this one, and it's a guy that I do have on my team. Most of these guys I've been talking about, I don't have on my team, but I'm still going to hold out hope a little bit longer on Miles Mikolas from St. Louis. Only 4 points through 2 starts. That's not good for a guy who started on opening day. But we've seen other bigger pitchers struggle early on in this season, and I'm going to give Mikolas a little bit of time and hope that we can get him playing some teams like the Cubs and the Pirates and things like that in the days to come. So I'm holding out hope that Mikolas turns things around and just becomes a middle of the road pitcher. Like, I need you to be getting me at least 15 points on a start. Man, negative does not help. So, but I'm gonna hold out hope that he's gonna pull it out at some point in time.
Well, the last guy I want to talk about is not somebody you would drop, even if it was September probably, but that's Zach Gallen. Okay. first pitcher that I took in our league, and he has a 7.59 ERA. That's not looking good. But he pitched a little bit against San Diego, 4 runs on 7 hits in 6 innings, only 3 strikeouts.
Mm-hmm.
So there's concern all over the place for Zach Gallen. And there were some other pitchers that I certainly could have taken other than him, but I did. So I'm stuck with him. So if you're out there and you're feeling the pain on him, breathe in a little bit, find your center, and just relax a little bit.
Relax a little bit. The last guy I've got, I didn't have on my list until you brought him up to drop. And so I'm gonna counter your drop Lane Thomas with a hold on to Lane Thomas. And here is my thought behind it. First of all, Lane Thomas is a player that I talked about before the season started, as if you're gonna get somebody from the Nationals, he's the guy to get. He's going to give you a couple of different things. You mentioned 20 points to start the season. He had 6 points in a 3-game series against Atlanta. He had 9 points in a 3-game series against Tampa and 7 points in a 4-game series against Colorado. What that says to me is consistency. I don't think he's going to drop off. He's batting leadoff, so he's getting opportunities to get on base. He only has 1 stolen base to start the year. He's not a power guy, so he's going to get his points through runs, RBIs as the time allows, and things like that as well. To me, if I have Lane Thomas on my team, he's still giving me production. So I'm going to hold on to him a little bit longer and see what happens with him, because I think he has the potential to be that consistent 6 points in a series. That's not great, right? But you probably have guys that are struggling. And right now, Thomas is a guy I'm going to hold on to a little bit longer to see if maybe he can break it out a little bit further than what he's doing so far.
Okay. You might have, turned me around a little bit on that. So I'll have to see how my roster shakes out. But the last guy I want to just mention real quick is one that pitches for the hometown Texas Rangers. And that is Andrew Heaney.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Andrew Heaney is at 28.5% owned, 7 runs on 7 hits, 2 walks against Baltimore. That is utterly disastrous. He has the Kansas City Royals coming in here tomorrow. He'll face them. So he has a quick opportunity to turn that around. So you would definitely want to wait one more start at least before you put up the white flag on him.
Okay, that sounds good. Now I need to get to this trade in this other league. It's not in our league. Nobody in our league would make this trade. It would get voted down. But in this other league I'm in, it's a head-to-head category league, 12 teams. And the trade is this. Justin Verlander, Corbin Carroll, and Mike Clevinger traded for Pablo Lopez, Yordan Alvarez, and Paul Goldschmidt. So you have 3 guys that should be on every roster out there getting traded for. Verlander, who hasn't pitched yet, Carroll, who's good, we like him, and Clevinger, who we could care less about. And it's just kind of one of those, it seems lopsided to me. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's a trade that would be turned down in like 3.34 seconds.
Yeah.
So
Alvarez and Goldschmidt were, by the way, keepers. This is a 2-keeper league, and he traded both of his keepers with Pablo Lopez, basically because he really likes Corbin Carroll.
By the way.
Oh, me too. Yeah, me too.
So,
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. No, there's zero chance, because we have real baseball guys in our league. There's zero chance that would happen.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't understand it. And again, it's a 12-man league, and we're a week in, 2 weeks into the season. Like, come on, let's let your guys play a little bit. see what they got, man. But hey, who am I? I'm just the host of a fantasy baseball show.
But hopefully means something. Hopefully.
Yeah. All right, that's good stuff. I like it. I like it a lot. So there you go. We got some conflicting advice tonight with Logan Thomas. To think that I brought up 2 different Nationals, that's a scary thing. Mackenzie Gore.
Yes, it is. And but there was a lot of Brewers brought up, so that should make you smile. So
very true. Very true. All right. He's Kevin Wilson. You can find him on Twitter at Kevin62 WILSEA. You can find all his stuff on bellyupfantasysports.com. Still writing some football stuff and then a lot of baseball stuff as well. Are you doing any basketball stuff? I guess we're done.
No, because the season ends today.
Yeah, regular season in today. Yeah.
And so I'm pleased to report that me, am the champion of our basketball fantasy
Look at
league.
there.
So I got that going on.
Yeah.
And I'd like to report that hockey was going well. However, I cannot do so. So I will not say anything further about that.
Okay. All right. I like it. I like it. I'm Vince. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sports Stove. You can find my articles both on bellyupsports.com and bellyupfantasysports.com. Every Sunday, I'm putting out power rankings for Major League Baseball on bellyupsports.com. And then about every other week, I'm dropping something on bellyupfantasysports.com as well. So you can find the stuff there. We're going to be back next Sunday, carrying on the tradition. We're going to give you the best fantasy baseball advice around, and we'll have another guest on for us next week as well as we continue to help you win your fantasy league this year. We'll try to trash some of our fellow league mates next week too, Kevin. We'll have two weeks under the belt, 2 matchups under the belt. So we'll have a good time with that next time as well. Anything else you need to add before we go?
Just to let you know that because next weekend is my mom's 80th birthday.
Oh,
and so we decided we were going to go and spend it with her. So I will be unavailable.
okay.
Next Sunday night.
Are you sure your mom doesn't want to come on and join the show? I mean, you could.
Well, that would be interesting, except she's got no Wi-Fi. It's like
Okay.
it's like traveling back in time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no
So
Wi-Fi.
I'll have to get a guest
So-
co-host next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who it is yet, but we'll get it figured out. It'll be all good. Well, we will be back next week. Somebody will be here. Somebody
Somebody will hold down the fort. No
That's
question.
right. That's right. We'll make it happen. All right, friends. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. Make sure you go check out Belly Up Fantasy
That's
Sports.
right. Get over there now. Right when the show's over, get over there.
That's right. RighteousFelon.com and MahlerBros.com. You can use the code BELLYUP at both of those sites to get 15% off your purchases. Thanks for tuning into today's episode of the Sports Stove Fantasy Baseball Show. Until next time, we'll see you around the Sports Stove.
Right.